MMC Nico, it's great to have you here to talk to us about the load shedding situation and how that's impacting on the city.
Yeah, load shedding in the city. I think it's been a very rough couple of weeks, as you can imagine. It's not only impacted on our electricity infrastructure, but also on our water infrastructure and the ability to continuously supply water, not only from a Joburg water perspective, but also from a Rand water perspective. Where we had water problems would have been around the Brixton and Crosby water reservoirs. There we also had an agreement with City Power to when we alarm them that they should reconnect our supply. Unfortunately, it didn't always quite work like that, or during load shedding, other things go wrong when the electricity goes on. You have further cable faults that might appear, and even when you then want to switch on to restore your water supply, you might have a distribution trip to the reservoir, etc., that then impacts on our ability to pump. And that is why we had further delays in restoration of water. And in that specific area, and I need to apologize to the residents, we had up to 12 hours at one stage without water as a result of the inability to pump water and to fill our water towers and reticulate to the residents.
If that's the case, can the city alone provide the necessary energy required for the whole of Joburg to run on its own?
We are looking at ways, and we are actually in the process of drafting a letter to the minister to say that from the city's perspective, we want to have the right to generate more power to be able to supply to residents in Johannesburg. In Johannesburg, we are in the position where we are currently buying about 200 megawatts a day from Calvin, an independent power producer. They can up that. They've got the capability to up that to about 400 megawatts maximum, but they can only do that if we give them the guarantee. And in the past, we did do that. The 200 megawatts that we buy in from Calvin, we could offset against the what we would be required to shed during load shedding. And suddenly on the 6th of December, we got this letter saying no more. Well, we now need a legal opinion on this, because we're not going to just accept that blindly. We're paying a premium for that supply, and we owe it to our residents to keep the lights on as far as possible.
The question then becomes, are alternative energy sources the way forward for a city sieged by load shedding? We speak to CEO of Enerlogy, Sunny Morgan, about unpowered electrical generation. Do consumers know just how much they consume on a regular basis when it comes to electricity?
No, that's actually quite an interesting question, because consumers are not aware of their energy consumption. I don't know if it's a sense of laziness or lack of information, or just they don't know where to turn to find that credible information, but they're not aware of their consumption or the tariffs that they pay.
Now, when we talk about unpowered electricity solutions, how affordable is it, and what do people need to understand about it?
I'm going to give an example and speak about solar PV, solar photovoltaic. The prices are coming down. It's becoming much more affordable for people to make the transition from normal energy to renewable energy. Prices are falling, and prices have fallen over the last decade, but particularly in the last 3 years. Affordability is less of an issue now than it was before.
The question then comes, the installation in itself. I mean, does it make financial sense to actually invest in such technology, considering the cost behind it?
So it makes perfect sense to transition to renewable energy. So if it's more affordable, it serves the purpose to reduce your electricity bill, and it's a vehicle to fight climate change. Consumers must make that transition, and if they make that transition, there's a credible return on investment. We find that the average consumer or small business owner can recoup their financial investment in 4 to 5 years, and the equipment, solar panels have a lifetime warranty of up to 25 years. So it's a no-brainer to make the decision, because the ROI is so good.
Speaking of business owners, now they're the ones who are suffering due to load shedding. Can unpowered electricity solutions be used to offset the current situation that they're facing?
Yes, a lot of our customers are small businesses whose businesses are interrupted because of load shedding or power outages, and there are solutions for everyone from a small business to a large business. I've done installations for businesses that were one-man shows, accounting practices or small supermarkets, and there's solutions from really 8,000 Rand to 800,000 Rand. We have large factories who have installed solar panels on their roofs and produce 40 to 50% of their energy from the solar panels. We have reached the stage where renewable energy, particularly solar, has reached grid parity. That means it costs less now to produce 1 kilowatt hour of power by a renewable source than it from a traditional the utility model.
Would you say that this is perhaps an opportunity for society to actually change its practices when it comes to energy consumption?
Oh, absolutely. Not just the load shedding and the high price of electricity. Climate change poses an existential risk to humanity. The IPCC has indicated that we have 10 to 12 years to make a significant change. And this is an opportunity gifted to us, and we really have to do something serious about it. And the transition from fossil fuel to renewables is one of the most important steps we can take.
Hi, I'm Jen Su, and you're watching Joburg Today.